That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to discuss Let's Scare Julie, which will be...
Discuss. Like it's a collegiate event. Okay.
Symposium on, which will be available October 2nd, 2020, courtesy of Shout Studios. It is the directorial debut of Jud Cremata, who also wrote the film.
All right. The story is about a group of teenage girls in a room, in a house, in the valley, like Southern California Valley.
Newell, California.
Newell, California. So the two main girls, they're cousins. One's black, one's white. The black girl's name is
Emma,
and the white girl's name is
Taylor.
So they're cousins. It sounds like, so the dad of Taylor, the white girl, is who owns the house. And Emma's
father's died.
Gone. So it seems like Emma and her little sister Lilly are just sort of like staying at Taylor's house, like sort of indefinitely.
It's indicated that's probably going to be long-term based on how Taylor forces her to correspond with Taylor's friends.
So in this room, we're introduced to the two cousins and then these three girls. Is it three or four?
They all blend together.
Some teenage bitches who were so annoying. But these girls are there, and it's clear that they shouldn't be in the house. There's a lot of tension based on the conversation that the father, who owns the house, would be very upset if he knew these girls were in this room. So we spend a long time in this room, like 25 minutes.
Which starts out with the girls, Taylor's friends pranking Emma, and that's where we learn she has an asthma attack. That's also important, apparently.
So just a lot of like dumb conversation until we start talking about the neighbor across the street, Julie. And they tell stories of Julie, and it sounds like Julie has like...
Who's kind of a recluse.
A recluse, and her skin, they say, looks like she's like dead or not human. So Julie sounds creepy. And they come up with the bright idea that they should go over there and scare Julie. But it also sounds like, I couldn't tell if like the cousins were being held hostage, or they make a big deal out of like, they definitely cannot go downstairs. They absolutely cannot leave the house. If the father finds out they went downstairs.
Well, except the father is dead drunk, by the way. And yeah, I guess there's a plot device about a key that Emma has to go fetch downstairs.
Well, before we get there, Emma gets into trouble, the black girl, because a boy sent her a dick pic, and I guess her uncle found it or saw it, so her phone was taken away. But for some reason, Taylor has the phone. So like you said, there's some issue with a key, which I don't understand. Like they live in a very modernized house, but it sounds like they need a key to be able to exit the house.
Or was it the gate?
Or it might be the gate.
It might be the gate, actually.
Oh, it might be the gate, although that seems weird. But anyway, 25-minute mark, Emma very slowly goes downstairs. The uncle is dead drunk, asleep on the couch. She very slowly gets the key, very slowly comes upstairs without incident. Then we sort of get a better understanding of Emma's little sister. And then we see this like voodoo doll that's like this reoccurring thing throughout.
Yeah, that keeps popping up strangely, yeah.
So all of the girls leave to go to the neighbor's house except Emma and her little sister.
Well, they slap on these masks that look like they would be in a billboard advertising a Dead Mouse concert. And then gallivant next door. So
while they're gone, they promise to give Emma back her phone if she gets the key. So she has her phone back, and we see her texting the boy, like, why did you send me that picture? Aren't we just friends? Okay. Then one of the girls comes back, like rushes in, like in a panic, saying that like something happened, but she doesn't want to talk about it. She says like 3 times, like, I don't want to talk about it, but your other friends are missing. While that's going on, they see that the little girl's missing. Lilly. So now Emma's panicked. She doesn't know where her friends are. The girl who returned locks herself in the bathroom And while that girl is in the bathroom, that girl's phone rings and Emma picks it up, and it's that girl's mom. And the mom says something to her like, you're all gonna die, or you shouldn't have done that. Something that causes panic. So Emma calls another girl's phone, and her little sister picks up. And the little sister says, I'm at the neighbor's house, I'm like stuck, and the other girls left me, I don't know what to do. So finally, Emma decides to go check on her sister.
Before that happens, though, another one of the girls returns saying that she ditched out before going into the house. Remember, she comes in to play dead, to play prank again.
That's right. And it's up, yeah.
So that happens before we finally...
Yeah, the 48-minute mark, Emma goes downstairs. So all this time we're in the bedroom. At the 48-minute mark, we go back outside, but she only makes it to the porch and then goes back inside.
And then has the interaction with the drunk uncle.
Okay. She has an interaction with the drunk uncle, which we'll get to, but it doesn't amount to anything.
No.
At the 60-minute mark, that's when she finally decides, of this 80-minute movie, at the 60-minute mark, Emma decides to go out of the house to see like where her sister is. She breaks into the neighbor's house and finds her sister, but before she does, she goes upstairs. She very quietly is like, Julie, wandering around these people's house, finds Julie. It appears Julie's dead and like mummified.
Yeah.
Finds her sister. As they leave, they hear someone saying, what are you doing in my house? And then we see an image from across the street of what looks like John Candy in drag.
It's a woman, but yes, it's a real woman. It's an actress.
Yeah, I need a receipt. But Emma and her little sister run back in the house in a panic. Then we see images of that figure, that person in the house. Then we see Emma in the bathroom, like hiding, and someone sends her a picture of her own back. And then we see Emma turn, and we presume it's that person.
Which confirms the supernatural element established by the voodoo doll.
And then that's the end.
And then that's it.
Wow. I was very unimpressed by this movie, and I feel badly because I don't, people put a lot of work into their art, and it takes a lot of effort to put in to create a film, I'm sure. I mean, I would be so lucky to be able to do that. But this story didn't make any sense. It was so dry. Like, these girls were so annoying. The first 25 minutes were so annoying.
Didn't you write down, I thought you said you wrote down, like, when are they gonna die?
Well, my first note is how old are these bitches? Because they're supposed to be, like, teenagers, right? The main girl, Taylor, she could have been 40. For all I know.
Well, the main girl's actually Emma.
The main girl's Emma, but the other girl, her cousin.
Troy Leigh-Anne Johnson.
My next comment is, when are these bitches going to die? They were so annoying. Like, the girl whose house it is telling them, like, first of all, please stop picking on my cousin. Also, stop making noise. Don't smoke in my bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
The one girl smoking, the one who's like a low-budget Natasha Lyonne, she is so annoying. And I know she's supposed to be like a rebel, or it just doesn't make any sense for what's happening. Teenagers are rambunctious. I sound so old, but it's not unbelievable that a group of teenage girls locked in a house who are bored would pull a stupid prank.
Yeah.
We don't need one of them to be like,
so it's
like a rebel without a cause.
Right.
Like,
so it's not that the premise is completely a terrible idea. It's just that its execution is...
My next note is someone needs to kill Madison. Madison's that like rebel girl.
Yes. That.
So when we meet the uncle, he is gross, drunk, waving around a gun, covered in what I thought was blood.
I couldn't tell if it was blood or food, but he looks...
If it is food, it's like he dumped an entire can of tomato sauce on himself.
But also part of the tangents is that the first girl that ran back in a panic, saying that some of the girls disappeared, Emma gets a hold of her cousin Taylor, who has to go get her mother at the hospital.
The airport.
The airport.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine what kind of a woman would be the head of this very dysfunctional household with a man like that. Also, he's so dysfunctional.
Yes. Also, that dysfunctional man, it is a very nice house.
Yeah.
And he's lounging in this beautiful living room with candles lit. I just don't believe that.
Like Toni Braxton.
Like a music video, a Toni Braxton music video.
Fantasizing, yeah.
Also, like, like, I had just read a BuzzFeed list of like the 27 most creepy serial killers, and reading that stupid BuzzFeed list was more creepy than this movie.
Yes, I didn't read that list, but I could agree with that. The whole middle section of this film is people calling out, girls calling out each other's names, and then we have to listen to these phones endlessly ringing, going to voicemail as they try to get a hold of one another. That's really, there are so many shots of just these girls staring at their phones, waiting for somebody to pick up. And I hated the look of this film. I hated it. And I know you disagree with me on that point, but there's the scene where Lilly says, oh, there they go, the friends going across the lawn, and the camera veers to this rain-streaked window. It's just so ugly, and it shows nothing, really.
I did like it because it felt like there was like another character when we were seeing the film through their eyes, because it looks like that person's, you can see the shots kind of bouncing like a walk, and then they do make abrupt turns. I liked it.
That could work, but there's no tone to the film, so it just seems more distracting than anything.
Emma, the young woman who played Emma, is gorgeous, and I'm sure very talented, but in this role, so flat. Flat. All these things are happening, and she's just like...
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's also a function of the story. I do not understand, like, what condition are these girls living under that they're acting like they're being held hostage?
Well, the major twist we left out, that we find out at the very end, which is why Emma...
Oh, I already forgot. What is
Emma didn't want to go over there, is that she had been involved in bullying a girl that died. But it's
I forgot about that because it's so stupid.
It's shared so quickly in this passing, another one of these these off-the-cuff conversations she's having over the phone, that we understand that is why she's having this kind of guilt and anxiety.
Why does she need to have asthma?
I mean, the other film we're going to talk about, that same thing. It's because it's an easy character flaw.
This voodoo doll pops up like, first of all, right in the opening, one of the girls, Madison, is holding it and like just being so annoying with it, but it's a huge, we spend a lot of time on this doll, and then we see it like, what, 5 more times after that? Like, we get it, like, but then I don't get it, because is like they're an evil spirit. Who put the doll in the house? And these girls have been living there for how long have they been there? Doesn't she say? They didn't just move in.
Right.
So,
there are some establishing parameters, but it doesn't... just listening to these girls yammer on and on is very irritating. So
my final thought about this film was, it seemed like the person who made it, maybe there were issues with like it was just a troubled production. Maybe they didn't have the funds and hard to get the key. I don't know. It just seemed very unfinished. Like they weren't able to do what they wanted to do, so they just took the footage they had and like put it together. Because the story does not make sense to me at all.
It felt like they were trying to do this. Well, the director, Cremata, his background is in docu-television series, so I don't know if they were trying to make this hybrid, even Blair Witch Project type of look. And it isn't one continuous shot, but they are trying to have that vibe. And almost always, with rare exception, do one continuous shot films justify that kind of artifice, because there's a reason that we have editing to tell stories.
If you want to see a quality one-shot video, I recommend Janet Jackson's All Right.
Sure, I recommend Russian Ark
or that.
Sebastian Schipper's Victoria. The title kind of had me excited because it also reminds me of a favorite, which we reviewed for the Blu-ray release, was Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Oh, yes.
And there's something about women's names in horror films, too. I was also thinking of, there's a Peter Straub book called Julia. I think it was his first novel, which was made into a really well-done, underrated Mia Farrow film. I forget the name of it now, though. It doesn't have that title. But yeah, I was quite disappointed, especially considering also that Shout Studios is premiering it. But
sorry to this man. I would give this movie 0.5 out of 5 stars.
I agree. It was a chore.
Anything else?
No.
Ta-ta.